hello team, we're live once again from the Digital DJ Tips Studios. It's me, Phil Morse, with another Thursday Q&A live. And that means I'm here for the next hour or so just to help you guys and girls out with any issues you might have with your DJing. So the gear we've got set up today, you probably saw it on our opening shot. Down here I've got the Pioneer DDJ 800, which we've actually had for a few days, but I've got it here, a few weeks actually, set up here. It's been our DJ gear of choice for the last few weeks. I've got this set up, so if you've got any questions about Pioneer DJ gear or using it with Rekordbox, which is of course the software that it comes with, although for some reason it's not showing on our screen like it should, then ask away. That's what we've got set up here gear wise. If you're totally new to all of this, we're Digital DJ Tips. We're the world's biggest online DJ school. We're the people behind Rock the Dance Floor, the #1 best-selling book on Amazon on how to DJ. But we're also the people behind digitaldjtips.com, the website, as well as the channel you're watching this on now, the YouTube channel, Twitch. Hello everyone over there on Twitch, and on all the various Facebook pages. We've got the Facebook page, and we've also got our groups and our student groups. So wherever you're watching us, that's what we are, that's what we do, that's what I'm here for. I'm Phil Morse, and for the next hour, I'm yours, so ask away. All your comments are coming through. That's where I was starting this broadcast, over here on the comment cam, where I can sit down and settle in and see everything you're saying, and hopefully help you as much as I can to become better DJs and better DJ producers, which is what our motto is in the company. So hi to Mixmaster G and GM and Martin, the Rucker, Steve, Kevin, X-Cozza, DJ Ginormous, to Earl, to Dr. Dupe, and to Christian, and Jermaine, Dr. Karen, and everyone else, Driver John, Surround Sound, in Sir Round Sound, I see what you did there, my friend, in Knoxville, and to Kikashi in California, and everyone else who's tuning in. Please ask questions, please use #ask. Please use #ask if you want to ask questions. And if you get value from this, consider subscribing. There's the link. Go to YouTube, subscribe, click the bell. There's the reminder, I should say. And that way you can see when we go live. That's what this is all about. It's about interacting live. So do that. So our questions are already coming in, which is awesome to see. First one is from Jermaine. I'm thinking about putting my DJ library on an external hard drive, like the SanDisk Extreme Portable SSD, and using this. Is it a good idea? Yeah, there's nothing wrong with doing that at all. It's, you know, be aware of the fact that there's various differences if you've got your music on an external hard drive to having it all in the same computer. You're going to need to connect the thing every time you want to use it, and so on. It's just one extra thing to think about, and one extra lead to fail, and all that stuff. But nowadays, you know, the SSD hard drives are very small, they're very powerful, hold a lot of stuff, very reliable. A lot of DJs prefer to have their music on an external drive, and they can keep the drive even safer than their laptop. So the laptop becomes kind of expendable, if you like. Personally, I've always kept my music on the laptop's hard drive. I've kept my collection lean and clean, and I always back it up. But it's a personal preference thing, really. So Jermaine, there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing that, for sure. Hello to Ian. Hello to Technobeat. And Vincent, DJ 2am is in, sun is slowly going down in Manchester, says DJ 2am. Oh, not for a while yet, surely. So Bop DJ said that the XDJ XZ will be arriving in mid-July. I was told mid-June. So this is the story of the year so far. You know, our most popular video on the Digital DJ Tips channels has always, like, historically been your first day with Virtual DJ. Just for some reason that's the one people want to watch, but recently it's been overtaken by our guide to how to use the XDJ XZ or XZ from Pioneer. It's the most sought after DJ controller in history, or in recent history. And it's funny because it's not particularly technologically advanced, but it just does everything it does really, really well, and people want it, and no one's been able to get them for a while. So you're not alone, DJ 2am, but I'm glad that they're finally arriving. #ask people, #ask if you want to ask questions. Mark says, what tips would you have for crafting playlists and DJ sets? So my biggest tip, and we talk about it in the bookmark, is don't turn up at your gig and play from your music library. Spend the time to prepare a playlist for that particular gig. And if you do this for every gig, you will find yourself in a position where you're not staring at your screen all the time, wondering what the hell to play next, which is what happens if you don't do this. So the best way of doing this is to just get an empty playlist and fill it with about twice the number of tunes that you know you're going to play. So let's say you look at your DJing style and you play 25 tunes in an hour. 20 tunes, 15, whatever it is, and you've got a 2-hour set, right? So you're going to say, okay, I'm playing for 2 hours. That's going to be 20 tunes an hour. That's 40 tunes. So then you're going to pack 80 tunes into a crate or into a playlist. And you're going to think very, very hard about each of those tunes. You're going to visualize the crowd, who's going to be there, what kind of gig it's going to be, and all that stuff. And you're going to say to yourself, okay, what if these tunes don't work? What other tunes will I take? And then you're going to pack some other tunes. And then you're going to say, what if there's more girls there and I've got to play some stuff that I know they're going to ask for, compared to, you know, if I get a crowd of, you know, blokes like I had last week and they wanted to listen to underground techno. What am I going to do about that? Have I got enough vocals? Have I got enough of this? And you're going to have all these conversations in your own head, but obviously grossly generalizing about girls and boys on the dance floor there. But, you know, you do what's right for where you are and what people do to music on your floors. The point is, you're going to be thinking hard about every single track you put in that playlist. And you're going to have a playlist that's twice as many tunes as you're going to play, but every one of them has got a potential place on your dance floor. So within that playlist, you can keep that night going. You can keep that DJ set going, whatever happens. And it's teaching you a very important skill, this, which is a skill that vinyl DJs know instinctively. Because vinyl DJs know that they can only take so many records in a record box, right? So you sit there with your record collection thinking very hard about what's going and what is staying. So you're going to pack the big tunes, the tunes that you know people are going to want, the tunes that went down well the week before when you played in that venue, the tunes you really want to play because you're desperate to see how the crowd how they go down. And then you're going to say, okay, what gaps are left now? Have I got enough old stuff, new stuff, well-known stuff, not so well-known stuff, vocal stuff, instrumental stuff, bouncy stuff, dark stuff, etc., etc., etc. And you'll end up with a great set that's twice the number of tunes you're going to play. Now, this is not, you're not going to play them in any particular order, although I do advise roughly putting them in an order top to bottom in your playlist, which you can do in playlists. You can't do that in your music library. Another reason to not play from your music library. So I would generally say, well, I'll probably open up with these kind of tunes. Then as I'm warming up, I'll play these peak time, I'll play this. At the end, I'll play that. Have them in a rough order. So you're roughly playing from the top to the bottom of your set. But you know, this isn't cheating because you're only going to play half of them. So how can it be cheating? You're only going to play half of them and you're going to move around that set. What it is homework, which means that when you are playing, it takes you very little time to choose the next tune because you've only got 80 tunes to look through, right? Instead of 3,000 or whatever your main collection is. By the way, 3,000 is probably too many tunes for most people. I'd say 500 to 1,000 is the average size of collection for hobby DJs. But anyway, I digress. So the point is that you're only going to take a small number of tunes and pack a small number of tunes. So that is my, you know, I could go on for hours about crafting sets, but that's my big piece of advice for that, Mark. Okay, hello Phil, hello Orlando. Craig's got a question. Please can you direct me to info or video on beat gridding old disco or funk tunes in record box? I wonder if I should continue in record box or look at warping. So let's just, for the sake of people who aren't into, you know, this subject too much, talk about what we're talking about here. Beat gridding is when your DJ software puts a grid over the track, and I'd show you if our computer was playing ball, but I haven't got the image coming through. Let's just try again to make sure. Nope, I haven't got the image coming through there. So it's where you put a grid over your track, and that grid tells the track where the kick drums are, and it tells it where the beats and bars are. And the problem is that it doesn't do it so well with funk and disco and any tracks that have got a real live drummer because the beats are changing slightly. You know, try it. Rekordbox has got beat gridding modes that might be pretty good at getting it right. And there's two ways of going about this if you want to oh, by the way, I haven't explained why you want this for people who don't know. The reason you want this is that you can use the sync button, you can use the loop controls, and they'll give you nice tight loops. The effects, like echo, the echo on the beat will echo actually on the beat and not just randomly. So it tightens up your DJ set, having this stuff. So yeah, you know, you can do two things. You can, one, go through the track and individually put those beat markers down, saying this is where the beat is, this is where the beat is, and you won't have to put them on every beat, but just as soon as it starts slipping, adding them in. It's one way of doing it. And another way of doing it is to use a piece of software to do it ahead of time, and then export that track, and now you've got a version of that track in your DJ library that's easy to beat grid because it's all uniform beats. And the software that everyone uses to do this is Ableton, because it has a feature called warping, which is just similar to using beat grids on Serato or Rekordbox or Virtual DJ, not on Traktor though, because Traktor can't do this yet. And then the good thing there is that you can then output that track and then have that kind of beat gridded if you like. It hasn't actually got a physical grid on the track or anything, but the track is now all at 1 BPM all the way through. So you can use warping in Ableton Live. Now Ableton Live is quite an expensive piece of software. I believe they still have a 90-day free trial on the main version of it. You can also get something called Ableton Live Lite, which is often bundled with like little $70 MIDI keyboards and stuff. So if you wanted to buy a MIDI keyboard or something, you can get a light version which will let you do the warping, or you can buy Ableton Live Intro for like $99 or something. So if you want to kind of like really get into it, that's the way to do it. Me, I'm happy just to do the gridding in my DJ software and go from there. But there's a few ways you can do that anyway. But do try. Rekordbox has got quite good nowadays at just figuring out the beats, even on non-electronic music. You might find it's better than you think, Craig. Hashtag ask people if you want to ask a question. If you learn something today, all I ask in return is you hit the share button on your platform so that we can push this out far and wide. Should I buy a Denon Prime Go for my first DJ device, says JB. It's a great question, because the Denon Prime Go is my DJ controller of choice at the moment. You've probably seen on our YouTube channel that I am using that on our live streams a lot. It's a really, really good controller, and it's something that's it's unique. It's got battery, it's well built, it's got a built-in screen so you don't have to use a laptop. Is it a good first controller? It's a good question. I thought I'd give you a picture of me using it on the live stream. Oh look, it's working now. Isn't that cool? Hey, I've got the DJ software to work, even though it's not what I wanted. That means the other button, there we go. There it is. There's the Denon DJ Prime Go on our latest live stream. So yeah, we use this unit a lot. The thing is, as a first DJ unit, I'm glad I've got that picture because I can talk to you about it now. As a first DJ unit, there's a few things that are a bit weird about this. The jog wheels are very small, which isn't ideal. The layout of the faders and the low, mid and highs and the level control is extremely unusual. You know, this stuff's always here, but of course they put the screen there, so they can't put that stuff there. And you are a little bit limited in what you can do on this. Not so much. One thing I miss is manual looping. You've only got auto looping on this. But you are a little bit limited on it. Using the screen and using the software is good. It's very good software that Denon DJ uses, but it's just a small screen, and you know, there's just a few things that are not standard, not normal on this device. As a first DJ controller, if you really, well, it's not a controller, it's a full DJ system. If you really want something that's portable, battery powered, you can DJ from everywhere, if that's kind of part of why you're getting into DJing, then maybe. I mean, another thing is it's expensive. For me, you're still better off going for something nice and cheap and simple that works with your existing laptop, because we've all got laptops, right? A Numark Mixtrack Platinum FX, for instance, a Pioneer DJ DDJ 400, that kind of thing, because those controllers are far more like the stuff, like all other DJ gear. And so you're going to be learning on something that isn't so far removed from the DJ gear that you're going to be using if you decide to change software or decide to start playing in clubs and so on. I think the Denon DJ Prime Go is a great unit for DJs who know what they're doing and know the compromises they're making by buying it. That said, it's not a bad first unit at all, but you know, you don't know what you don't know with DJ gear, and it's a bit substandard, not substandard, a bit non-standard is the word I'm looking for. We have got some articles that will help you to choose DJ controllers, by the way. So if you go to the Digital DJ Tips website and look for the search bar, or just go straight to tutorials or roundups. Roundups is a good one here. You'll find them. So we've got the 5 best DJ controllers under £500 here for 2021. This is where I would start, to be brutally honest with you. This is where I would start, because you're going to spend very little money here. You can probably sell what you buy for, you know, nearly what you paid for it if you decide the hobby isn't for you. And if you do upgrade to a big beefy controller like the controllers over $1,000 that we've got listed in this article here, well, you're probably going to keep your first controller as a backup anyway. It's always good to have a backup controller. So, you know, these controllers here are kind of like up there spending a lot of money like you would spend on a Prime Go, because although the Prime Go isn't as big and feature packed as a lot of these, it does cost thousands, you know, it's an expensive device. Yeah, so for me, I'd still go for a controller, a little basic controller at the beginning if I was advising you. But not a bad choice, JB. So this is lovely. I'm enjoying this today. If you are, please hit the thumbs ups and hit the appreciation icons wherever you are. But please also hit share. And if you're just joining us on the recording, you have to do this. Subscribe, because then we can let you know, especially if you click the bell, we can let you know when we are live in the future. And that said, if you're on the recording, we'll still answer your questions. Please still ask them underneath. And talking of ask, please use #ask. Will your book be available in other languages, says Norbert. I'd love to get this book in other languages, but I can't see it happening anytime soon, unfortunately. But if things change, we will obviously shout about it, Norbert. But thank you for the tick in that box. You're not the first person who's asked, and we always take note of these things. What is the best genre to learn beat matching? I'd say very simple house, like tech house or something like that. Something with not too many vocals and a very hard kick drum would be the best genre to learn beat matching, Vincent. This is from someone on our Facebook group in Alberta in Canada who says, I'm still on lockdown. Commiserations. I'm wondering about podcasting and how to make an outline and making the best of it, and what services can I add them to? Is there a course to take on this? So you're going to need to be a bit more specific here. When you mean podcasting, do you mean live streaming? Because if you mean live streaming, then we definitely do have a course on live streaming, which I'll show you now. But if you mean podcasting, like audio podcasting, no, we don't have a course on audio podcasting. Keep going to the software now, don't I? But go to our courses page at the top of the Digital DJ Tips website and scroll down to the specialized courses here and go to DJ Live Streaming Made Easy. This is a course where we talk you through everything you need to know, whether you just want to go live on your phone or whether you want to go live using your laptop, or whether you want to get a second laptop and then start to build a studio with extra cameras and so on. We cover pretty much everything you need to know in this course. It's a very popular course, obviously, at times like this when a lot of people are in lockdown, a lot of people are thinking of live streaming. You know, we've been doing it for a long time. As I said, here's our DJ live stream, the one that I did the other day on YouTube. And you can go to YouTube and find our live stream sets here and have a look at them all. But there's Steve and me and Ben. We're all using different kinds of studios and all using different kinds of gear. And the course explains how we do it. It's all from personal experience. It's not just kind of like theoretical stuff. You know, you want to go live, follow someone who's done it. And we do it. We do it every week. So take a look at that course. Okay. So 2021 says PlayStation, the whole world of DJs. Ain't it so? It was always so. So the next question is from Earl Whiff. This is actually, that reminded me of a joke. Back in the day, it was like, you know, every person, it was every bloke, let's be honest, it was every man. It was a very geeky thing to do in the late 80s, early 90s. But when it all exploded, it was like, you know, everyone's got a toothbrush and everyone's got a pair of decks. It was just the case. Everyone you met was trying to be a DJ. It's craziness. Earl Whiff's question anyway. I just got Serato DVS. I'm picking up only the control tone in OBS. Any advice, please? You've got it set up wrong for sure. You are. Now I'm just trying to think through on the spot what's wrong here. You're plugging your. What you want to do, you've got to plug OBS into your audio output from your gear. So you can't hijack the audio output, I don't think, in the same way that you do with a controller into OBS by selecting your controller, because it doesn't work that way, I'm pretty sure. What you have to do if you're using DVS, because DVS is, yeah, I mean, it's hard to explain it now, but that's what's wrong. So what you want to do is you need to plug the audio output of your mixer into your computer to listen to it in OBS. So you need to get an audio interface to do that. And that way it will, unless you can somehow plug it in because your computer's sound card, you can route that. Sorry, your mixer's sound card, you can route internally. You know, I'll be honest with you, without getting this out, without getting DVS out, and without knowing what gear you're on, it's quite hard to advise you. It's something that you know, within 5 minutes of fiddling with, I'd figure out in your particular instance whether you could do it without having to use an extra sound card. But I suspect you're going to need to get a sound card and plug it into an extra output from your mixer. So if your speakers are going to the master output, plug it into the booth output and plug that into your computer separately, and that will be something completely separate from your DVS box or the DVS, the way your DVS is set up. But without knowing your exact setup and what you're using, whether you're using a controller in DEX or whether you're using a MIDI mixer or whether you're using a DVS box, it's hard to advise you further there, Earl. But that's what's going on. That's what's going wrong. So people voting left and right, external drive, internal drive, and Musami always uses a external drive. So here's a question on Facebook. Hi Phil, have you got any suggestions for tutorials for making redrums? Actually we have. Now we've got one on Virtual DJ of all pieces of software that DJ Rachel did for us a little while back. If you search DJ Rachel redrums on Google, you'll find our tutorial there. One of the we haven't got a specific one that we've made since then actually, although if you don't know what a redrum is, by the way, it's just when you add an extra drum track to beef up an old track to give it a bit more pump for the dance floor. Mobile DJs love to do this stuff. So what was I about to say? Serato Studio is a good piece of software to use for this. It's kind of halfway between a deep piece of DJ software and a piece of production software. You can quickly load your track in, redrum, it's got sounds and stuff in there, and quickly get it out again. So maybe take a look at Serato Studio software. I think they've got a trial on at the moment, a free trial. I'm not sure on that one. DJ 2AM has got an odd question. I love odd questions. I was asked to make a mini mix for someone's wedding. She gave me all the music, which was all of the similar BPM and key. She wanted the A City chant over it, in which the key didn't work well. Have you tried, I don't know what the A City chant is, but have you tried just changing the key of the A City chant? If you move it up or down one note or two notes, one of those keys should work, DJ 2AM. So just use key shift on your DJ software and move that thing you wanted over the top up or down by one note and then up or down by two notes. Try it, all those variations, and one of them will work. Okay, so the Prime Go is great, says Mixmaster G, but I'd think about something else to start off with. It's a standalone controller, standalone system, not a DJ software controller, so agreeing with me there. So 2 votes for buying something a bit cheaper and a bit more conventional in for your first unit. Do you like the Digital DJ Tips cup, by the way? Check this out, eh? It's all branded around here. What do you think, folks? By the way, I didn't tell you where to get the book from. You don't have to buy the book. I'd love it if you went and bought it. You can get it in all kinds of places nowadays, but you don't have to buy it. If you want a copy of the Digital DJ Tips book, which I thoroughly advise you to do because it's helped tens of thousands of people to start DJing, head over to the Digital DJ Tips website and just go to subscribe there. And it will take you to this page here. Give us your email address and this will tell you everything you're going to get when you subscribe. It's free to subscribe. And one of the things you get from Digital DJ Tips when you do subscribe to us is a free copy of the book. So, as I said, you can get this on Amazon. You can get an audio book. It's on Kindle. You can buy it at bookstores. But we'll give you a PDF download of the book just for coming and joining us. So do that. Come and join us. But also you can read the book online. Just go to the book on the Digital DJ Tips website and we've got the book here as well. So the beauty about looking at it online is that we can embed all the videos in it that you don't get to see in the book. In the book you have to, I send you off to a web page, but from here you can see all the videos. They're all embedded in the page here when I'm teaching you basic DJ tricks and so on. So a few ways of getting the book there, and if you like it, I'd love you to buy a copy of it. A lot of people buy a copy of it as a souvenir, having got all the value from it on the website or from their PDF download. But anyway, that's where to get the book from. Right, let's get back to your questions, people. If you've just joined us, we're halfway through, and that means I always ask you to hit those likes, hit those shares if you're enjoying this. We are here live just answering your questions on the Digital DJ Tips YouTube and Facebook groups and pages, and we're also live on Twitch. So please do ask questions. That's what I'm here to help you with. So Christian says, if I have Rekordbox 6 free and my setup is not hardware unlocked and I pair it with a hardware unlocked device, do I have the ability to use my set? No, it will only work when you've got the hardware unlocked device plugged in. This is the Rekordbox subscription service. No, you've got to buy it to use it with your other hardware. Kikashi says, when doing the same venue week after week, is it okay to play a decent amount of the same music? Right, well, you've asked two questions there, so I'll answer your first one. Yes, it is. You know, if you're playing the same venue every week, you ought to be trying to build a rapport with the audience, and you do that by playing the same music. When I had a residency for 12 years, every Saturday night, 12 years in the same venue. Well, actually, the venue changed a couple of times. And, you know, I learned everything about playing weekly gigs. And what you've got to do is get some new tracks every week. But you've got to say to yourself, are these better than the ones I'm currently playing? And if not, try a bit harder to find more new tracks. And then you're going to take a few tracks out. But basically, the bulk of the music will be the same, because you want to take people on this journey with you through music. And, you know, a good track is worth playing more than once. So we had some songs that were massive that hung around for like 6 months in our DJ boxes, some that stayed for a few weeks, some that we only played once because they didn't work very well, but then we tried them again later and they worked better, so they came back in. We, you know, retired old songs after a while, but then sometimes brought them back just on New Year's Eve or whatever, you know, when we wanted to play the biggest tunes of the year. So have this kind of pool of tunes that you're picking from, but yes, definitely the bulk of your set should be the same every week. You're not expected to play different tunes, a completely different set every week. That said, you know, varying the mixing up is a good idea. Don't play the same transitions every week. You know, vary that stuff up. But no, absolutely fine, Kakashi, that's fine. A question from Steve. Hi Phil, do you have any thoughts or tips on curating your DJ collection via a mobile device? I'm on Rekordbox and PC and I use Android for mobile, not the natural choice for many DJs I know. Now, Rekordbox has got an app on iOS, which is really nice for curating your music. I don't know if they've ported it to Android yet. Maybe you can help me out, someone. Really, most music prep happens on your laptop because it's just easier. You know, again, this isn't what you want to hear because you're an Android user. There's a great app that's been launched by Beatport to allow you to curate Beatport link sets and then go and buy that stuff on Beatport if you want, which is really, really nice. I've been playing with it recently. But really, for preparing your music on mobile, there's not very much out there at the moment. And I would say, really, you should be preparing it on your laptop. You know, what I do is I listen to music on my mobile when I'm out running or whatever, on my headphones. I listen to music on my watch because my watch has got Spotify on it. And I, you know, click the like button on the tracks I like, whether on my phone when I'm out and about or on my watch. It hasn't got a like button, it's Spotify's Connect thing. So when I get home again, and then I'll listen to all those tracks again, and then I'll buy the ones I want. And from there on in, I do my preparation on the laptop. So my music discovery is happening on my mobile devices, if you like, but my actual preparation is happening on the laptop. So that's how I would recommend you do it, Steve, right now. And it's good, for sure it's all going to come to mobile, of course it is. John, at a wedding, would you recommend starting slow and building up or starting strong from the get-go? So at a wedding, we have a very specific way we recommend you handle this stuff. You want to DJ the whole event. That's the most important thing. Do not play background music for you know, weddings are different in the US to the UK, but generally you've got what we in the UK call the wedding breakfast, which is a weird thing because it's, you know, it happens in the afternoon. But the big meal, then you have speeches and stuff, and you know, all this stuff goes on, and then you have the entertainment in the evening. Now the entertainment in the evening is the same everywhere, right? But you know, however this goes, you want to DJ the whole thing, not play backing music. Why? Because it's essential you figure out what everyone there likes. A wedding is not normal. A wedding, you've got everyone from the little kids who are skidding across the dance floor on their, you know, rented trousers, up to grandparents who probably will have one dance in the evening, if that, you know, I mean old grandparents, not young grandparents. But you know what I mean? You've got everyone from 2 or 3 generations, or even 4 generations I've seen at a wedding. So, and they're all different backgrounds. You know, the 2 families might be very different. And so the kind of music you play, you haven't got a clue. All you've got is what the bride and groom gave you as their must playlist and their don't playlist. But really, you know, they often get it wrong. It's your job to get it right. If you DJ the whole wedding, you can do what we call the dartboard approach to DJing. And the dartboard approach is where, imagine every genre on a dartboard, right? Every possible type of music. You're throwing darts at that board at the very beginning. When you're playing, when they're eating, quietly, of course, you're throwing darts at that board. Play a bit of hip hop, play a bit of pop, play a bit of house, play a bit of Latin. Those darts are going in, disco, old funk, rock and roll, oldies. And you're watching the room and you're seeing who's smiling, who's suddenly chatting about the music to their people on their table, who's looking up at you and giving a nod or a thumbs up. And you're making mental notes or even physical notes about the music that you think is going to work later. Now you're going to play lower energy music, and you're going to play music, obviously I've already said, not so loud, and you're not going to play the big records because you want to save those for later, but stuff in the same style as the stuff you think you might want to play later. And then that gives you a real good sense of what to play later on. And then later on, when it is dancing time, you can feel that dance floor straight away, because you've already got a sense of what the most popular music is among the people in that room, and you're going to start with that. And you don't have to go full out, you don't have to play all your big massive hitters, but just by playing decent tunes in those genres early on, the dance floor is going to fill. So that's my advice. Play the dartboard early on, and then when it comes to dancing time, you should be able to fill the dance floor in the first few minutes and keep everyone there. Now I could talk to you for hours about this, about how to rotate the dance floor and how to play different genres throughout the night, but you know, that's my general advice, my first advice. Play darts. It's the best way with a crowd that you're not sure about. And let's face it, anyone who's a mobile DJ will agree with me. Hit the likes if you agree with me. You don't know about any crowd when you're turning up at a venue you're not sure of and setting your gear up, right? It's not like a residency where you know who's going to walk through that door. So, so there we go. A great name, Satan is Typing, says, a few days ago, my family went out to my aunt's house and I started home to drink and play music. I ended up waking up the next morning with a call from a guy confirming my DJ booking. I don't know how. Hey, if it works for you, Satan is Typing. Your name kind of made sense there when we read out what you were talking about. Mixmaster G is succeeded where I failed here. Whiff, make sure your audio out of the mixer is set as the audio source in OBS, not the channel output of the DVS unit. So there you go, in one sentence, that's what I was blathering to get at earlier on. Thank you, Mixmaster G. One more time, Earl for DVS. Make sure the audio out of your mixer is set as the audio source in OBS, not the channel output of the DVS unit. When you're in OBS setting the input, there's lots and lots of options there. That's the one you want to set. And if you can't get that to work, use an Evermix or something like that, which would be always my fallback on these kind of things. All right then, let's pull on and have a look at a few of you loving Satan is Typing's story there. Please only ask once, people, because if you ask questions more than once, I have to scroll past them on this list, and that's just annoying because I've already either decided to deal with it later or I've decided to ignore it for whatever reason. So there you go. Technobeat's got a question. If I have phones, can I link them both together, two phones, as one stream with the same stream link or URL? I was thinking of adding an extra scene from a different angle. I'm still confused as heck. Well, I can help you with this. No, you can't. It's one stream code, one stream key and one stream server per device. You know, there are ways of switching, you know, depending on what you're streaming to. There's, you know, if you're streaming to restream, there's a grace period where you can disconnect on one device and connect on another. But that's not the same as just switching from camera angles. To switch camera angles, you need to have that happening beforehand, and then you're sending that out to one stream key, to one RTMP server with one video output. So no, you can't do that. Technobeat, the course I just told you about, is the way to stop being confused as heck about this stuff. Lord Carlos says the Reloop USB stand that you had, was it solid or a bit wobbly? It was as solid as any USB stand of that design. You could set it up as a C stand, which is like, I haven't got enough hands, like that. But you can also set it up as a Z stand, which is like that, you know, and there's different ways of setting it up. Some are more stable than others. But yeah, it's pretty stable. Douglas, Phil, I have a problem with intoxicated people. I try to be polite, but they mess with my vibe, touching my equipment and acting like idiots. How do you diffuse people from being around the DJ booth? Loads of ways. You know, you've got to get the people who run the DJ, who run the night on side. So if there's security at the event, you know, tell them I don't want people near me. Sort this out. You have to design your way out of these problems. You know, what's the problem? Is it that they're coming into a DJ booth? Well, lock the door. Is it that the way the venue's set up, your equipment is right there where everyone's walking past? Well, ask them to move the equipment. You know, design your way out of it. You have to be firm, frankly. You know, you've got to just say, move away, please. And you know, if they want to talk to you and pester you and just ask for requests and stuff, you know, what I like to do is have a notepad and just hand them a pen and paper. I'm working, write it down, you know, pen and paper. And one that I used to do, put your headphones on, pretend you're queuing up music, and just keep your headphones on until they piss off, basically. It's a very hard one. You know, these people are paying your wages. It's hard to be diplomatic, Douglas. It's one of the big bugbears of being a DJ. If anyone's got anything they want to share, type it in and I'll try and read a few out for Douglas. How do you deal with drunk people acting like idiots, messing with your vibe and touching your equipment? No physical violence will be read out. Martin says, I'm finding that for a 30-minute set, I'm spending 36 hours of preparation. Is that normal? Listen, at the beginning of your DJing life, everything's normal. If you get enough DJ gigs, you will find that that number comes down massively. You know, no DJ spends 3 days sorting out a 30-minute DJ set. But that said, you know, I'll give you an example. I play, nowadays, I just, apart from the odd private gig for corporate stuff, you know, for people I know, I don't really DJ out anymore. I'm past that. My only DJing is a live stream once every fortnight where I play for an hour. Now, if you add up all the time I take to prepare for that live stream, I select about 10 hours worth of music that I want to listen to, and I listen to that twice to choose new records, because I always play new music on my live streams, never old music. So that's probably 20 hours of listening. And then I probably spend 3 or 4 hours in front of my decks playing with that music, basically because I love it, you know. So I probably spend 24 hours to prepare an hour. Most of that time is listening to music. It's not, you know, I do that when I'm cooking or when I'm on my headphones or when I'm traveling or whatever. You know, so I don't consider that work. I consider that a privilege to listen to new music. But I probably spend a day, if you had to add it all up, preparing for that 1 hour. So look, it's not outside the realm spending 36 hours preparing for a 30-minute set. But look, if you were DJing 5 times a week, that would drop to nothing. You know, you'd just be finding new music, and you'd probably be finding that when you're out and about. The DJ before you, the DJ after you, what's that? Nice one. You know, so the more you DJ out, the less time you spend preparing. That's the rule of DJing. But no, Martin, as a beginner, as a hobby DJ, that's fine. But don't think that you're going to continue doing that. I mean, you can't, can you? Because there's not enough hours in the day. Someone on Facebook, I want to upgrade to the Pioneer DDJ SX2. Which do you recommend? Well, you've just said what you want to upgrade to. The DDJ SX2 is a fine controller. There's an SX3 out there as well. Either are great. Yeah, no problems there. Upgrade to it. So this is a question from Dimitri, who says, about a year ago, you made a review of the Prime Go and you had some complaints about it, which could be fixed by software. Coming back to the beginning of the track, for instance, I wonder if Denon updated something. So their 1.6 update does fix a lot of stuff in it and does make it a much better unit, but you still can't just press Shift and Q and go back to the beginning of the track, which really annoys me on it. There's no reason. Shift and Q doesn't do anything else. No, they haven't fixed that particular thing. Right, I'm now going to go only to questions that have been asked ahead of time, or sorry, that have been asked with the hashtag ask, so that I don't miss any of them. So please, if you want to ask a question from now on, I'm going to read out no more feedback. I'm just going to handle hashtag ask questions for the rest of our live stream. So this is from Owen, who says, I just got the Denon DJ LC6000s with an S11. Is there a way to change the platter edge color? So with the Denon DJ LC6000s, I've got some here. It's these devices here, which are a really nice unit that's designed for plugging into, mainly plugging into Denon DJ's engine mixer, and then working with that and a main Denon DJ unit. So a main Denon DJ unit would be something like this. This is the SC6000M. So you get one of these or 2 of these, and you get a couple of the LC6000s. So you've now got 4 decks. Plug all that into one of the Denon DJ mixers, or indeed any mixer, but it looks nicest with the Denon mixer. And you've got a system where you've got 4 decks. It costs you a lot less than 4 Pioneer CDJ 3000s for sure. And the reason is because this is a well, can't say that anymore. This is a secondary controller. It works with the primary controller, which is the Denon DJ SC6000 or 5000. No, I don't think it works with the 5000, or does it? Maybe it does. Yeah, I think it does actually. But anyway, that's the one with all the brains in it. That's the one with the computer in it, if you like. This is just a MIDI controller. It's a lightweight box. So this doesn't cost very much. Now, Denon DJ launched this for just that purpose, just to liberate, because each of these main units has got 2 decks in it. But you control them with the 1 unit to liberate the second deck, if you like, the second layer, and to get that working on its own controls. But they realized very quickly that this is a fine MIDI controller as well. So you can now plug this into Serato, for instance, and use it as a MIDI controller and other DJ software as well. And so the question is, can you change this has got a loop round here to change the color of the controller, of the platter. And I actually don't know the answer to that, because normally you do that in the engine OS settings on your primary controller. I don't know if you can do that without that. And maybe I guess the person who would know on this live show is Mixmaster G, because you know pretty much everything about these units as far as I can tell. Never a question. I've never heard you stumped. Can you go in and change the little settings like the color of the ring? I suspect you can't actually. I suspect that's not possible. I suspect it defaults to something. I mean, there might be some esoteric way of doing it, but if there is, we'll try and find out for you before the end of this show, maybe. But Aaron, probably not. Anyway, it's a nice setup, that, by the way. If you want to get a 4-deck setup a lot cheaper than going the Pioneer route, is to do that. So Keith's got a point here. I DJ in a club and dealing with drunk people a lot. I tell them to leave the booth and be clear and nice. Sometimes they get the point, sometimes they don't, I guess. Keith was saying, oh, it was me asking about it. It's for audio podcasting. No, we haven't got training on audio podcasting, Keith, I'm afraid. But thank you for answering that. DJ Pac-Man, any tips for a mobile DJ driving a 2-door coupe? My QSC K12 stands controller and mixer all fit in there right now, but I've not got much more space for anything else, i.e. sub. Get a trailer or get a bigger car, DJ Pac-Man. You can't change the laws of physics. I mean, you could get a roof rack and try and get your sub up there, but that isn't going to be fun, is it? I wouldn't imagine. All right then, so let's carry on. I'm just looking at my, you see what I'll let you into a secret here. We have like windows open everywhere because this is self-produced from this studio. My team are remote, so we have a little chat box. And Lauren, our social media person, says, awesome Q&A today, Phil. High quality all round. Please upload it when possible so I can share it on our socials. So thank you, Lauren, for that. That's given me a little boost, a little spring in my step for the last 10 minutes. Right, so live questions. Let's answer a few more then. Let's hope we can keep the quality up until the end of it. So the next live one is from DJ2AM, who says, do you think in time all DJ systems will be 7.1 audio as a standard, as right now stereo is the norm? No. Maybe, but look, most club systems are in mono anyway. People don't realize that. You know, you've got a club system. Let's say you're setting up a nightclub and it's got the main dance floor and there's a bit over there and there's a little bit off there and then there's a little bit of the main dance floor that's a bit quiet, so we put another speaker there. You know, it's 5 or 6 speakers. Which ones do you say are going to be the left and which are going to be the right? It doesn't make sense having stereo. So they're just gated to mono. They're just ganged to mono. And so what's coming out the speakers is quite often a little bit more complicated than that, although most mid-sized to small clubs, it's no more complicated than that. They just have the amps, everything's in mono. You know, they do have DSPs and clever stuff going on as well. But, you know, club sound, the best clubs are always innovating, always trying new stuff, but Ministry of Sound is in mono. And Ministry of Sound kind of know what they're doing. So 7.1 in clubs, don't think so. Don't think so. So have you ever DJ'd at a bar or bat mitzvah, Phil? And what did you think of it? I have, but it was 35 years ago. Literally when I was 16 or 17, one of the first gigs we did was a bar mitzvah. I just don't remember it, frankly, but I've never done it since. Next live question. Lots of you chatting about this, saying Jewish weddings are so different. Well, Jewish weddings, so I always say Jewish day today, bar mitzvahs and weddings, but these are very different when it comes to dancing. Yeah, I know. My advice on weddings, I can't give advice for everything, but thank you for that, DJ2AM. How do you transition to a song that's more than 20 BPMs apart? For example, from 70 to 130, you slow down the 70 track to 65, which is half the BPM of 130, and then you just beat mix in. There you go. The other way of doing this is to just use a massive reverb on the old track and then start the new track playing. You know, that's the normal way DJs do it. They'll have an effect and then they'll just start the new track playing. But in that example, 70 to 130, I'd slow the 70 track down to 65 because it's exactly half of 130 and that'll beat mix fine. So if you DJ at a bar or club for the first time, how do you know where to start with the volume and how loud to go, not to end up too loud? It's a brilliant question, DJ Dorian. And I'm going to say first, you're going to succeed as a bar or club DJ because you're already thinking about the things that most DJs don't bother thinking about. So I've got high hopes for you in this job. Well done. Here's how to do it. Start your music playing and then walk out onto the bit in front of your speakers, whether it's a dance floor or just that part of the club. Have a little listen yourself and then have a wander around the whole event and then say to yourself, you know, this is before anyone's in there. Say to yourself, if I walked in now and sat down, is this going to be the right volume, too loud or too quiet? You know, if you're in a pub, people want to talk. So you're going to want to have that fine balance between being a little bit louder than background music so people know there's a DJ on, but not so loud that people can't hear themselves think and can't hear what everyone else is saying to them. And literally the best way to do it is just to go out and walk around and say, would I like to come in and sit down here? Now, as the place fills up and as the background noise rises, you're going to want to turn up as well. But again, as soon as you're not sure, go out and walk around. And then if you start to get people dancing later on, I think this is going to stop being a worry to you because you know everything's all right. But look, whenever, not only when I was worried about the volume or quite often the audio quality, I thought that, because a lot of the places I've played over the years, I've not been too enamoured with the quality of the PA, so I want to know whether to tweak things. I've always just walked out and I'd walk around and listen, like it's a bit tinny, it's a bit bassy over there or whatever, see what I can get done or do myself to fix it. But at the same time, I'm checking the volume. But also, it goes further than that. You know, I've been regularly someone who walks out onto the dance floor just because I don't know what to play next. I don't know what direction to take the night in. I don't know what the vibe is. I feel like I've lost the vibe a bit. So I'll go out there and I'll say, look, I'll just try and put myself in the position of someone in that club. What would I want to hear if I was them now? And that quite often just clears the DJ's block in my head and I know what to do next or for the next half hour. So my big tip for you is walk out onto the dance floor, Dorian, and decide for yourself that way. Here's a lovely question. What do you think of Mix software? So Mix is a piece of software that we don't talk about enough on Digital DJ Tips. It is a free DJ mixing app. You can get Mix software by going to mixxx.org and download it for Windows, Mac and Linux. It's open source and it's got all kinds of features in it that you would be pretty amazed for a free piece of software. So I would recommend having a play with this at least once in your DJ career. Mix is really nice and like I say, it's something we don't cover enough on our channels, you know, mainly because not many people use it, it has to be said. But look, just because not many people use it, maybe we should cover it a bit more. As you can see from the screen, it looks the part, right? It looks as good as anything. It's open source, it's developed by a great community, it's got a great community surrounding it. But yeah, I recommend you go and have a look. I think Mix is great software. Thank you for reminding me of it, RT_9 over there on Twitch. And hello to everyone watching over on Twitch. Now look, it's just time for me to say we're going to hit the last 5 minutes now and answer as many questions as I can in the last 5 minutes. But please, if you are new to this and you haven't liked our page before, you haven't shared our page before, please do that. That's what helps us to do it. Subscribe to us. There's how to do it. Go to there, click subscribe and the bell on YouTube, click like this page and click show posts first on Facebook. That lets us tell you when we go live. And go grab the book, please. If you're new to this, go and grab the book. You can get that from Digital DJ Tips by going to Digital DJ Tips short code that I've got there, djtips.co/join. Go to djtips.co/join and I'll give you a copy of the book just as a thank you for joining us. Right, let's do it then. Home run. Let's find out what we're going to be finishing with in the final 5 minutes. What do you think is better, says DJ Ocean Official, Serato Pro or Record Box if I have a Numark? Whatever came with your controller, Serato Pro is probably better for your Numark device because it was built to work with it. That said, you can map most DJ software to most controllers nowadays, but the short answer, stick with Serato. Can you start? Not going to answer that one because it gets a bit complicated. This is a thing about going live. You you've got to look at the questions sometimes when you're reading them out. I can't answer them all. I'll leave that one for another day. I'm looking to get an XLR microphone to plug into my mixer for a bit of chat during live streams. Any recommendations for less than £50, says James. So I always recommend the Shure SM58 or Beta 58, I've been told is a newer version of that, but that costs a bit more than £50. In the US, there's a microphone by Pyle, P-Y-L-E, that's ridiculous value for like $20. I'm not sure if that one is available in the UK. So I'm going to have a look now for you as we are live, because that's the kind of gig I run here. And I'm looking for a microphone now that is under $50. And I reckon, without having tested it, I reckon you're going to be really good with this one here. Stop going to that software, Phil. It's the Shure PG Alta dynamic vocal microphone. This is £53. I reckon this one would be brilliant for you. Comes with an XLR cable. I reckon this would be great. I'd be happy if someone handed me that to use at a gig, even without using it, even without having tested the thing. So there you go. That's my, with the proviso I've not actually tested it. It's a great brand. It's for £50. It's not going to be a poor microphone. It's got 4.5 with 1,000 ratings on Amazon. Without having anything else to recommend you on the spot, that's the one I'd go for. So hope that helps, James. So why is it, says Big Joe Joyce 93, that raising or lowering the gains on the decks, raising the filters on my decks, raises the gain so it sends me into the red. Surely by applying the filter, I'd be removing something from the sound. Okay, so this is the thing about filters. Let's just have a little look at this DJ controller here. So your filters are these controls here, underneath your low, high and mids, but above your channel volume faders. These are your filters. Now sometimes they do more than filter, but they always do filter. So turning them to the left will make the sound kind of like take away the treble, turning to the right will take away the bass. So your question is a really good one, which is, why does that push the sound into the red on my controller and not, because it sounds like it's taking it away? And it's a very simple answer to that. The reason a filter is not an EQ is that a filter has something called resonance, and resonance takes what's happening and feeds it back in. So it's actually putting input back into the signal as well as taking it away. So certainly when you're not far away from the 12 o'clock, you might be, depending on the filter you're using and the gear you're using, actually boosting the overall signal rather than reducing the overall signal. And the way to get around that is look for the resonance setting. If you've got a resonance setting on the filter in your settings or your utility settings on whatever gear you're using, and just reduce that a little bit. You know, take that all the way down and your filters will sound like EQs and they'll lose that lovely quality that filters have. But it might just be that that's set too high. But that's the reason why anyway. Filter has got a feedback loop where it's re-inputting what's going on into the signal, and that's what gives it that filter dynamic. Thanks for that question, Big Joe Joyce. That is such a good question. I'm going to write it down so that we can cover it on the website officially, because I really like that one. So Ray says, hey Phil, or anyone, you sound desperate, Ray. DDJ 1000 record box, VDJ, running virtual DJ on Windows. In scratch mode, my crossfader volume keeps bleeding over when all the way to one side or the other. It's my second controller within 4 or 5 months. Is anyone else having this issue? It does sound like hardware. It does sound like it's nothing to do with virtual DJ or Windows to me. It just sounds like that's a hardware issue. But you're very unlucky to have had that happen twice with 2 controllers. If anyone else has got any feedback, Ray's over on Facebook, and Ray's comment will remain after the live finishes, so you can go and answer there. But yeah, I think that's what it is. And finally, a question from Steve about Digital DJ Lab, which is one of our products. Do you think Digital DJ Lab will ever have the parts separately? There's an article I'd love to purchase, but I'm not ready to make good use of a subscription. Right, okay, so let me just cover this for you, because I want people to know about Digital DJ Lab. It's an incredible thing that we do. So I'll cover this and I'll answer your question, Steve. So Digital DJ Lab is something that we have as well as our DJ courses. So I've already talked to you about our DJ courses. This is our DJ courses page, where we've got the complete courses and introductions, and Layback Luke and James Hype and Angelo and all the people we've worked with, and all the courses for all the software and hardware and so on. But we also have Digital DJ Lab. Now, says Phil, who can't even say it, Digital DJ Lab is a different kind of thing. This is a subscription program that we're always adding to. So this has got workshops and coaching and stuff that, all of the stuff in here, none of the stuff in here is in our courses, none of it. This is all absolutely unique stuff. And this comes with a subscription. I don't know what the minimum subscription is right now. I think it's $47 a month. So this is not something that you will purchase lightly, not at all. This is for DJs who are already, you know, where they want to be. They're already established in their hobby, but they want to stay on top of the game. So it says at the top there, DJing is always moving on. Lab keeps you in the game. Training, workshops and coaching designed to keep you ahead in your DJing. This is stuff you won't find anywhere else. So let me just show you what's different about it. Let me show you inside Digital DJ Lab and then answer your question, Steve. So this is our membership area. These are all the courses I own. You can see I own quite a few, basically because I made most of them. And I'm going to click into Digital DJ Lab here. So Digital DJ Lab consists of mix deconstructions where we take big mixes by big name DJs and we deconstruct them and show you how they're done. So you can see here that there's Carl Cox, Van Buren, DJ AM, Tiesto, Cascade, Fatboy Slim, A-Track, and so on. Loads and loads and loads of these. So inside here, we take a transition, we show you the transition by this DJ, and then we break it down. And we show you exactly how to do it yourself on your gear. So these are hugely valuable, right? You can learn how other DJs do it, and then that way your own DJing is going to improve a lot quicker. So there's like, God knows how many of these there are now. There's probably nearly 100. I think we're getting ready for our special deconstruction for the 100th one. Then there's the action plans, and the action plans are mini courses. You know, they could be around music, they could be around gear, they could be around techniques, could be around playing out or promoting yourself. As you can see by the titles here, these are things that are deep dives into just little topics that people really want to know about, but that we can't cover at this depth in our main courses because they just confuse people. So these again are broken down into lessons, and each lesson will have look, 40 minutes long, this lesson. This is about acapellas, and you can ask questions and you can get help. You know, this is like makes YouTube look like, you know, the worst place to learn DJing in the world. And there are loads and loads and loads of these. I don't know how many of these there are. I reckon there's probably about 50 of these already, and these are added to every month as well. And then there's a pro level, and the pro level of Digital DJ Lab is for people who are actually paying. You know, they get paid as DJs. There's that dartboard method I was telling you about. This is me actually explaining it to you and showing you how it works earlier on in this live stream. And there's loads and loads of these here about marketing yourself and networking and websites and how to use social media and so on. All this stuff here is yours for that $47 a month. Everything you see here. It's an absolutely phenomenal investment in your DJing if you're serious about it. But as Steve just said, you know, there's only one thing I want in there, and I'm not ready to subscribe. Well, Steve, here's how to do it, and you can do this with my absolute blessing. Every now and then we have a offer on Digital DJ Lab where we open it up to new people for just $1, and so you can try it for a month and see if it's for you. And so next time we do that, unfortunately we've just done it, Steve, but we'll probably do it again sometime over the summer. Next time we do that, buy it for $1. Try it all for a month, including the one thing that you want. And if you think, you know, there's not enough in here for me, I'm not ready for this, then just unsubscribe again. That's fine, we don't mind. And get the value from what you wanted from it. Give it a go, because I'm pretty sure that once you've given it a go, you're going to want to stay a member. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of DJs are, because it's not just the material, it's the help. You know, this is the community that we give most of our advice to. We spend most of our time in the lab helping people. So it's more about being part of something that is just there for you at all times when you're serious enough about your DJing to join it. But yeah, wait for the next $1 trial is the short answer there. People, we've run out of time. We've overrun, in fact. Thank you very, very much for being part of this today. We do this every Thursday, so if I couldn't get to your question, there's two things. One, if you asked it on Facebook, or on if you asked it on Facebook, then you can hang on, we'll get to you. We will answer you. If you have watched this but not asked a question and you still want to, ask it on Facebook or YouTube and we will get to you again underneath the video. But if not, come back next week. Thank you very much where you've been watching on Twitch, whether you've been watching on our Facebook groups or pages or on YouTube. Thank you very, very much for watching us today. I'm back again next Tuesday in fact, I'm back again tomorrow at the same time. I've got something quite special for you tomorrow. That's all I'm going to tell you now. But tune in tomorrow, about this time. Look at your watch now, about this time tomorrow. Watch out for some new video content from us. But apart from that, I'm back again next Tuesday at 4 PM London, 11 AM Eastern for Tuesday Tips Live, and next Thursday at 4 PM London, 11 AM Eastern for another Thursday Q&A. I think it's Steve this week at this time, 5 PM London, midday Eastern. I think it's Steve on Sunday with our DJ live stream. So come and join us for that. But meanwhile, from me here in the Digital DJ Tips studio, get good, get out there, make the moments, and until next time, bye-bye.